You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may rot me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? 'Cause I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides. Just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my hardiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my ties? Out of the hearts of history's shame, I rise. Out from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean leaping a white, welling and swelling I bend the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. And their soul, I rise.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Najah binti Hashim. My metric number is 18BE01022.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is FAUZANI binti Muhammad Afandi. My metric number is 18BE01041.
My name is FARIS AL-MUJAHID. My matrix number is 18BE01040.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is SOPHIATUL HUDA binti Mak Saleh. My metric number is 18BE01001.
And this is my poem diagnosis of Still I Rise by Maya Angelou. This is the part that caught my eyes the most. Did you want to see me broken? Bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries. In this poem, at first read, I already knew that she addressed feminism, racism, because the author is an African American woman. It's also about survival and hope, but also the part that a bit confusing to me is she seems to be like addressing to her haters, and that is what I thought at first. And so to clarify my curiosity, I went ahead and do a little research on her biography, and what I found is a tragic background. Now, trigger warning, I will be talking a little bit about her sexual assault trauma. When she was 7 years old, she was raped by her mother's boyfriend, and because of that tragic incident, she became a virtual mute for 5 years, which means she's being silenced for 5 years. Can you imagine that? As a woman, this is a very sensitive topic, but I'm going to talk about it anyway. After I did a little reading on her background, I decided to find out about the statistics of sexual assault and rape in Malaysia. And did you know what did I found? There is one rape case in every 35 minutes in Malaysia. Did you know that? I don't know if you knew, but I don't at first, but now I know, and it is really heartbreaking for me. So I went ahead and read again the poem, and I find that her poem is actually very inspiring, empowering, uplifting, whatever it is that I really cannot describe to you how I feel after reading her poem. And actually I feel a bit ashamed of myself for having such shallow judgment, which is addressing to her haters, when things are much deeper than that. Honestly, I don't know if I did this poem diagnosis right, but this is what I gained from reading the poem. And I see this poem in a new light. It is not merely just words, it is so much more powerful than that. That is all from me. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Today I'm going to share with you the theme of hope and survival that I found in Still I Rise. Again, the author is Maya Angelou, a black woman. Okay, now let me guide you to the first stanza of this poem. It sounds, you may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may throw at me in the very dirt cruel, but still like dust I rise. Here, may is a model verb. Okay, it resembles the power of white oppressor in their history that can do anything to the black people. Okay, let's move on to the second line of this stanza. We found bitter and twisted. Okay, the tone is the protest from the author of the poem herself, or maybe from the black people, because of the oppressor were being cruel and zany to them. Okay, now look at those words, bitter and twisted. Okay, there are b and t sounds in bitter, and there are also b and t sound in twisted. Okay, actually they are bilabial consonants. In order to articulate these sounds, you need to press your two lips. Okay, this arrangement of words, or we can say that the selection of words, means the black people were being oppressed by the white people. Am I right? Okay. Meanwhile, the dust that we found in this stanza reminds us that the author's role in that community that was seemed empty of meaning. Okay, dust also symbolizes very small, tiny particles that exist around us. Okay, dust has no power. It always being stepped on, but once again, they can't be damaged by the other people. Okay, I also made a research in the Google that dust represents death, or the cycle of life. Okay, according to the biblical phrase, from dust to dust, implies that dust is simply the absence of, or the existence, either pre or post life. Okay, in this stanza also, what is highlighted here is the hope of the black community people. Okay, let's see. The stanza. You may shoot me with your words, you may cut me with your eyes, you may kill me with your hatefulness, but still, like air, I rise. Okay, here, you may, once again, modal verb may is being repeated. Okay, now let's look at the verbs. Okay, the first one is shoot. It begins with sh sound and ends with t sound. Okay, cut. It begins with k sound and ends with t sound. Okay. The word kill, it begins with k sound and it ends with t sound. Okay, they are started with consonants and also ended with consonants too. Okay, what does it mean? Okay, actually the harshness of the sounds of the words reflects the harshness of the oppressor too. Okay, the last line of this stanza, like air, I'll be rise. Okay, actually, air is a natural entity that cannot be easily destroyed. Despite of being tortured, it shows endurance of the black community against the white oppressor. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, today I am going to talk about the poem Maya Angelou, Still I Rise. I want to talk about the elements in there about racism. What is racism? We heard of racism, and if we think about it, racism is an ideology or belief that a certain race should be superior to other races. Let me give you an example. In the US, the white people is superior and have this thing called white supremacy, and it is used to rule the black people. The first paragraph, you may write me down in history, right, with your bitter, twisted lies. Okay, the paragraph means like this. History is always written by the winners. And Maya Angelou, she thought that the white people oppress the people, the black people I mean, and then change history. I mean, there are many things about black people that they don't tell. In paragraph 8, it says that one of the hearts of history, shame, I rise up from a past that rooted in pain. Okay, this is more of a history thing. Maya Angelou is talking about the history of the black people, why they are always kept pushing around. It started when the slavery thing back then, when America was colonized, still have slavery, and even when they have independence, slavery is still a thing. But there is one day that the black people would rise up from that. That day was after the Civil War. Civil War started 1855 until 1860. When 1860, the Abraham Lincoln win, and they promised the black people that they have their own freedom. They can be the American citizens. But what really happened is that it doesn't happen until 1863, and at that time some states don't want to do this like amendment, but later in 1863 and 1865 they have to do it. For the 9th paragraph, bringing the gift that my ancestors gave, and I am the dream and the hope of the slave. Okay, it mentioned about the slavery thing that I just talked about. Here Maya Angelou, she wanted to be someone who can stand in front of the injustice, prejudice, the hateful stereotypes that is given towards her. She said that in her poem, Still I Rise, that is like a positivity and spirit, and that her race, should never be afraid of this kind of people, these racist people. Try to rise, make yourself shine. It is full of positivity, and it's like a nationalism kind of thing. The one that you back up your race and stand up for your race. Okay, that's all for me.
Still I Rise is an empowering poem about the struggle to overcome prejudice and injustice. It is one of Maya Angelou's most popular poems. When read by victims of wrongdoing, the poem becomes a kind of anthem, a beacon of hope for the oppressed and downtrodden. The theme of Still I Rise is really about self-respect and confidence. In the poem, she reveals how she will overcome anything with her self-esteem. She shows how nothing can get her down. She will rise to any occasion, and nothing, not even her skin color, will hold her back. This poem is her declaration that she, for one, would not allow the hatefulness of society to determine her own success. I myself really admire them because they have this courage, always so confident and proud of being black. We can tell that Maya Angelou is addressing society in general in this poem, in that she does not single out anyone in an individual or group particularly. The you in the poem is a general, all-encompassing term meant for this specific prejudicial group in society. The attitude words for this poem I came up with are confident, inspiring, and serious. I said confident would fit the attitude because the speaker is confident. They will rise over the insults and hate. They emphasize that they will rise numerous times. I actually have a similar experience about racism, about the difference in skin color. I have a niece whom I consider to be my own daughter. Her name is Nailin. She's 4. Her skin is slightly darker than me, but whatever. She's beautiful, the most cheerful and prettiest girl ever. But last night, while we were playing with my makeup tools, she kept changing the color of the lipstick I had put on her. Suddenly, she looked in the mirror and looked at me and said, "I am not beautiful, Mama," with a very disappointed face. My heart shattered into pieces after hearing it. There must be someone who said that to her, and she believed it. This is wrong and not normal. Being racist isn't cool at all. It is called ignorant, foolish, and narrow-minded. There is nothing to be proud of having fair skin. What differentiates is our knowledge and deeds. When we die, we will still what? There will be no more beautiful and flawless skin that used to be idolized. We bleed the same color. All people, regardless of their origin, are equal, even in Islam, and the only thing that distinguishes them is their level of commitment to their religion. It is reported by Al-Tirmidhi in one hadith that the Prophet Muhammad SAW said, "O mankind, indeed we have created you from male and female and made you peoples, tribes, that you may know one another. Indeed, the most noblest of you is the sight of Allah, is the most righteous of you. Indeed, Allah is knowing and aware. Surah Al-Hujurat chapter 49 verse 13. Racism isn't born. Racism is taught. Let's all be kind people. Thank you. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.